PokiLAME has been in the news a lot in recent months. One of the top 10 streamers on Twitch, and by a landslide the biggest female streamer on the platform, has within the span of about a year gone from someone whose brand was synonymous with wholesome, unproblematic content to probably one of the most criticized content creators at the moment. There's many aspects to this topic. There's the excessive copyright claiming, the mustering of an army of so-called simps to go on the offense for her, the seemingly delusional statements, and many more nuances that add up to paint a picture that has drawn a lot of backlash against her on YouTube. But what started with PokiLAME seems to have reached a boiling point, where Twitch streamers and YouTube creators are now at war over the definition of what transformative content actually is. There's a lot to unpack, but we're gonna take a look at all of it in this video, not just for the purpose of piling on, but rather to understand the implications of this ongoing conflict, along with my own perspective on the entire situation. What we're seeing unfold right now actually started a couple of years ago, and although the term simp wasn't established back then, the concept behind the word itself is what actually got the ball rolling. Now, we've touched on the topic of so-called Twitch thoughts before, in a previous video covering the Alinity timeline. And if you've seen that video, you should have an understanding of the ongoing tension between Twitch streamers and YouTube creators. Well, one incident that got quite a lot of traction in 2018 was when Keemstar called out a Twitch streamer called Sniperwolf for photoshopping her pictures. One of her fans came to her defense, and Keemstar quote tweeted him with a joke saying, "Alexa, what is a virgin?" Now, what justified this joke was the fact that the guy was in his 30s, and in his own pinned tweet, the dude was hardcore simping for Sniperwolf. PokiLAME, however, didn't think this was funny, and she started a public argument with Keemstar over Twitter, which for a lot of people came across as disingenuous and condescending.
So, again, Keem, do better. Have a good day.
Later, a YouTuber by the name of Boblax took all of the tweets, all the videos, all the back and forth between PokiLAME and Keemstar and compiled them into one video in chronological order, forming a sort of time capsule to document the argument. PokiLAME, however, didn't want it to be documented, so she decided to copyright claim the video. Mind you, the legal grounds for this action were at the very least questionable, if not non-existent, and
Grammarly helps you work more efficiently, which makes accomplishing your work goals easier.
despite the poop storm that this caused for her, even prompting an apology video, she still stood behind her decision while disingenuously apologizing to escape the backlash.
Although I was legally within my right to take down the video, morally and as a content creator, it wasn't something that I should have done because, I mean, at the end of the day, those were tweets that me and Keem made publicly and videos that we made publicly, so I totally apologize for that.
Sometime later, during a podcast, PokiLAME expanded on this topic, and even from the way she talks about it over there, she seems to only be sorry because she got called out, and not at all for the action itself.
And I had spoken to my MCN and I was like, is this something that I can take down? Maybe if we like kill this, because Keem had deleted his tweets already, and I was like, I just want this whole drama to be over. Yeah. And I made not the right call, in hindsight, to have that video removed. I just didn't want to be in like all this drama, and I wanted it to like pass.
So we already see a pattern of disregard for content etiquette on PokiLAME's end, but as time went on, this issue appeared to only grow bigger. Now, I have to make one thing clear, which is that copyright claiming in itself is not the problem. Sometimes I believe it's justified. After all, the purpose of the system is to protect original content. But more often than not, copyright claiming on YouTube is used as censorship. And for PokiLAME, this seems to be the case a lot of the time. It's also probably worth noting that I did at one point have a brief conversation with her on Twitter, way back in early 2018, and my opinion at that time was that she was an ambitious, hardworking individual. Based on what can be observed from a spectator point of view, it's possible that the more attention she got in her career, the more entitled she felt to resort to such actions. Through her consistent pattern of silencing her critics and taking down videos left and right, she's proven to be not just thin-skinned, but also to seemingly take pride in this behavior. I mean, in this video, she actually talks to this dude live on Twitch as she's preparing to copyright claim him.
Wow, I'm so sorry that it takes you a lot of time to steal other people's content. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, no.
And put it together. I'm so sorry that it takes you so much time to go to the top clips on Fortnite and then just right click and save all of them as, and then just like put them all into Premiere and then just like export it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Am I mean not? I don't even know what to say, bro.
Anyways, I'll be taking down some of your videos, but yeah, I just hope you stop doing this.
She's like a leopard playing with her prey before striking, and for someone who puts up this wholesome persona, her claws seem to be surprisingly sharp. And despite her apology in 2019 for all the copyright drama, a year later, not only did she do it again, but this time she riled up her entire audience to attack on her behalf.
I think the only way people like this stop is if people like me and my community give them feedback that this is not an okay thing to do. Not attack them, but I hit a little dislike and I say, this not cool. And you guys, that's just how I am with content. I love something, I say good one. And I hit it with a like. And if you think something is not okay and you want to see less of it, you also have to give feedback, because that's how YouTubers work. If they're not going to work off of morals, they're going to work off of dislikes and comments and whatever.
Yeah, just give them feedback is what sending a hate train on somebody is called nowadays. A female creator in a landscape known for being built on male viewers, donating money to people like her in exchange for a few seconds of being noticed, someone with that amount of intrinsic power over her male audience, telling them en masse to go to somebody's video where he criticizes their queen and just leave a little feedback, is the most manipulative way of attacking someone. What happened next is that It's a Gundam, the YouTuber who made the video, lost a major sponsor that he had lined up. I didn't get a chance to make a video on this at that time, but the whole thing in my opinion was just scummy. It shows a condescending side of PokiLAME in a meme-like Karen-ish entitlement that crosses a dangerous line. And ever since this incident happened in May, PokiLAME has been under continuous scrutiny on YouTube, to the point where just recently she's decided to take a step back from the internet for a month. But the snowball effect that started with her continued to roll on down even in her absence. The one argument that PokiLAME never seemed to own up to was that while she was complaining over people making videos on her that she thought weren't transformative enough, over on Twitch, her live content consists of a lot of just watching videos, giving mild reactions, and just sitting there, oftentimes eating or not even looking at the screen. And this seems to have sparked a huge debate over what's considered transformative on YouTube versus on Twitch.
This is the most frustrating thing, because I'm a React Andy myself. Like, I get so mad at this when YouTubers literally sit around, okay, and they make one video. They make one video a month and get like Patreon money, and then they cash out with like a 6-figure check, and then they turn around and on streamers who literally go live for 6 to 8 hours every day. Like, that's nuts, dude. Of course there's gonna be dead space in between, you stupid. This shit genuinely tilts me, dude.
Okay, so let's think about this for a second, because by the way, I'm one of those channels that uploads once a month. Twice, tops. Sure, that's 2 days of content in a 30-day month, but you know what I do the rest of 28 days? I put in hundreds of hours of work to make one of these videos. And here's the downside to that. I could be working on a video for 2 weeks straight, I put it up on YouTube, and guess what? If it's demonetized, that's 2 weeks of full-time work that goes completely unpaid. And I'm not talking hypothetically here either. My last 2 videos were demonetized for, and I quote, discussions of modern acts of terror, events resulting in catastrophic loss of life, or social issues. And I mean, all I did was talk about Shane Dawson and Dr. Disrespect. As far as I know, neither of them have anything to do with terrorism or catastrophic events. And by the way, appealing the decision not only doesn't solve it most of the time, but it also may prompt a manual age gating, considerably limiting the discovery of your video. You know, just to kick you in the nuts while you're down. Cause why the hell not? Twitch streamers may well spend hours every day live streaming, but while I'm working my ass off for free, crossing my fingers not to piss off the chimps with the red button that can make my video vanish off of everybody's feed, these dudes get a steady income from subscription revenue and donations on a daily basis. Seems to me like that's a pretty good deal. Now, that's not to say that streaming isn't challenging. In fact, I bet it's really difficult to pull off successfully. I mean, we were just talking about this in my last video about Dr. Disrespect. His journey to become one of the top streamers on the scene took over a decade, and the same applies to everyone who manages to pull in live viewers at that scale. It takes commitment, consistency, and a lot of hard work. But to assume that establishing a big Twitch channel is considerably more difficult than building a successful YouTube channel is, in my opinion, a very ignorant statement to make. YouTube YouTuber Justin Wang summed it up pretty well, I think. He goes, "While I'm sitting here lazily writing, recording, and editing videos, I'll be sure to take time out of my day to think of all the streamers doing the real work of eating while watching videos." Following that up with, "Streaming I think is more difficult to do well than people appreciate, but almost all of the work that goes into a video is unseen. At the end of the day, both mediums have their advantages as well as challenges and obstacles, just like any other job or career path on this planet. As someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with live streaming, but rather with making animated content on YouTube, I realize I may be somewhat biased, so I think this is a good moment to pass it on to you guys. What do you think about all of this? Do you think reacting to a video on a stream is different than reaction videos on YouTube? In fact, I'm gonna put a poll up here in the corner to actually see if you guys sway one way or the other, and let me know your opinion down in the comments. I always enjoy reading the well-argumented thoughts that some of you leave down there. And on a topic that can be as divisive as this one, I'd love to get an idea of what you're thinking. As always, thank you for watching. Wilfer and I will see you again very soon.